Students, we're going to be looking at Word Lesson 5 today. First thing you need to do is you need to download both of these documents. We're going to be looking at part 1 in this video tutorial. So in part 1, you need to download the marijuana and teen instructions and then the marijuana and teen starter. Now, if you're watching this video, you really don't need the instructions. So let's just focus on the starter. And I've already pre-downloaded everything for time's sake. So here is the starter that you're going to have to get started. So go ahead and hit enable editing. And then this is what we are going to be editing. We're going to be taking this document and we're going to be using the Endnotes and Footnotes tools for this report. So to get started, we're first going to turn it into a report. And I'm going to hit Control A and to select all. And then we're going to double space the entire paper. So just a reminder how to do this. This is the line spacing button. I can go ahead and make it double space for my report. Very good. Now I'm going to go to the top of the document right here on the very top, and I want to start to type in some information. So I'm going to hit enter once and then get back up to the top, and I'm going to type marijuana's adverse effects. And then I'll press enter once. It tells me to type your name as a student writing the paper, so type your name. I'll put in my name as if I'm a student. And then you're going to type your teacher's name. So now here's Mr. Blake. Then I'll hit enter once. Then I'm going to type in the course, which is Business Office Specialist. And then hit enter once. And now I'm going to use the insert date function. Instead of typing in the date, I'm going to use the insert date function. So I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to come over here and find the button that kind of looks like a calendar in the text section. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to insert the date just with the first format I see. So I'll go ahead and insert the date. And that way the date always changes as the days change, if you remember that feature. Okay, perfect. All right, now we're going to keep all this information as the title page. So I want to make a page break. So go ahead and click or hit the down arrow so your cursor is flashing in front of the Marijuana and Teens title right there. And then come up to Layout, Page Setup section right here. Then you're going to click on the break strap down, and we're going to do a page break. And now, without me having to try to eyeball and hit enter a bunch of times, I've made 2 separate pages for myself. Now we're going to center the title page on the first page. So I'm going to highlight all this new information I've typed. And with it all highlighted, I'm going to stay in the layout ribbon, and I'm going to go to the page setup dialog box. Here's the page setup button. Hit the dialog box. And then I want to go ahead and go to layout, and I want to vertically, which is up and down, center it. But pay attention to this. I don't want to do it to the whole entire document. I just want to do it to the selected text. So make sure you choose to do only to the selected text. If not, it's going to be vertical, centering every single page. So, all right, I got that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now it's centered vertically. And then I'm going to go to the home tab, and we'll center it horizontally. Okay, now we're going to be making some changes to the formatting. So I'm going to scroll down to our next pages, and I'm going to grab all the titles. Oops, looks like I did too many page breaks. I must have done 2 of them. So I'm going to come on this blank page and just hit delete to bring it all back up. All right, here are my titles. I'm going to give a heading 1 style to all my titles. So here's 1 style, and then to get those titles, the styles, they're right here, and I said to give it a heading 1 style. And then I'm going to also go find how marijuana affects the body. That's another title, and I'll give it a heading 1 style. And then those are my 2 titles. The next thing is I want to indent all paragraphs. So I'm going to go to the beginning of every paragraph and hit tab, because you should always have a first line tab at the beginning of every paragraph in a report, because I'm getting this report ready to submit to my teacher about the adverse effects of marijuana on teenagers. And now I'm also going to delete extra lines so there's only a double space between paragraphs. So if on your document, I don't see any errors on mine, but if you see any big gaps between your paragraphs instead of just the one double space, then go ahead and delete it. For instance, if you see something like that, that's 2 double spaces. So 4 spaces total. Go ahead and backspace that and get rid of all extra spaces. All right, next step is I'm going to add page numbers to my report. So I'm going to scroll up to the top here, and then I am going to go into the insert ribbon, come over to the right-hand side, and I'm going to find the header and footer section, and then here's page numbers. So on the page number, the instructions want me to put them at the top of the page. So here's the top of the page as it loads, and it wants me to choose plain number 3. So I'm going to choose plain number 3, and it's going to give me page numbers on the top of the page. So there's page 3, 2, and 1, but I don't want a page number on the title page. So that is why we're going to click this one that says, this box up here in the top in the design ribbon tab that says the different first page. And then when you click on different first page, it will remove the page number at the top. You're going to notice it didn't work because I made an error, and that's because I'm highlighted on number 3. So I need to come up and I need to get highlighted on number 2. So let me Control Z and undo my errors here so we can get it back to normal where it should be. So there's my page 3 and 2 and 1. So now I'm going to click on 1, and then with 1 highlighted, I'll go ahead and go different first page. And then we'll only have pages 2 and 3 showing and not have to have that number 1 showing on our title page. Great. Now it's time to insert footnotes. So I'm going to be going out of here. So I'll go ahead and close the header and footer by clicking on this button or just double clicking on the body of the text. Oh, not working for me, so I'll do close header and footer. To do the footnotes, we're going to go to the references ribbon, which we have used before when we've managed sources when we were doing our bibliography. So in the references, I am going to be doing quite a few steps. Here's the first one. I'm going to go and find my first reference in the second paragraph on the last sentence. So here's the second paragraph on the last sentence. Right here is where I got some information from a source and I want to reference that source. So I'm going to place my cursor behind the period after the word earlier. So behind the period after the word earlier. And now I'm going to find the Insert Footnote button, which is right here. We have Insert Endnote, Insert Footnote right here. Go ahead and click on the Insert Footnote button, and then it will take you to the bottom of the page and put in number 1. And here's where you're going to type in your first footnote. So actually, I lied. I would recommend getting the instructions opened because that way you can copy and paste. So here's the instructions. And I'm on instruction number 8, and this is the information that I want to copy and paste. So I'm just going to go ahead and go Control C, and then come back to this document and paste it all in. Perfect. It did make an extra space on the bottom, so I'm just going to go ahead and backspace and make sure there's no extra spaces on the bottom. All right, now let's move on to our second footnote that we're going to be putting in. You're going to notice it's called the footnote because it's found in the footer. So what happens is when your teacher's reading this report and he or she thinks to themselves, oh, where did the student get all this information? Oh, they referenced number 1. Let's go down to number 1 in the footnote and see what source they used for that information. Okay, let's go on to the second one we're going to be doing. In the fourth paragraph on the last sentence, let's find the fourth paragraph. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. In the fourth paragraph on the last sentence, place your cursor behind the word infections. And now insert your footnote. So again, we're going to do the same thing. Insert footnote button, and then it's going to take me to the bottom. It's going to put a number 2. So I'm going to go back to the instructions and copy number 2, and then I'll come over and paste it. And look, it did make that space on the bottom, so go ahead and just delete that space out if it did. Oh, actually never. Nope, no, it didn't. I'm good. So now it's showing on this page, I happen to have 2 references. So as my teacher reads, they can see number 1, and as the teacher continues to read, they'll see a number 2 and know, well, where'd they get the information? I'll go look right here, number 2 in the reference. All right, beautiful. We're going to move on to the next reference we're going to be putting in. We're going to be putting in 3 more. So now that you understand how to do this, I'll pick up the pace a little. I'm going to go to the 5th paragraph, which is on the 2nd page. In the 5th paragraph on the 2nd sentence, place your cursor behind the period and after the word marijuana. On the 2nd sentence, place your cursor behind the word marijuana. Now find the insert ribbon, which is right here. Insert footnote button, and then it's going to take me on the bottom of this page, and I'll put a number 3, and then I'm going to copy and paste my reference for this one. There we go. And now it's putting number 3 because it's my 3rd reference I'm going to be using, but since it's on this page, on the 2nd page, it's putting it on the 2nd page of the report. And you'll notice that the number 3 was right there. So it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of a sentence or at the end, it's all good. And actually, sorry, I did the wrong one. Middle of the paragraph, I mean, not sentence. So since I did it wrong, I have to put it back again, and it did, when I delete that number, it deleted my reference out. So that's a good step to learn. So now I'm putting it on the correct spot, and I'm going to go insert footnote and put it on the right location. And now we can see the number 3 there at the end of the last sentence. Okay, the fourth one I'm doing in the sixth paragraph, which is this one, on the last sentence, place your cursor behind the word cycle. And now we're going to insert a footnote. It'll take me to the bottom. And then the footnote for this one that I'm grabbing from the instructions is right here. And then, I don't like how this font doesn't match up. So if that happens to you, look how it's Times New Roman instead of calorie body. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this one that didn't match up and make it like the other one, which was calorie body, and then number 10. Okay, perfect. All right, next one. In the seventh paragraph, on the last sentence, place your cursor behind the word alcohol, and then we're going to go back to the References tab and insert a footnote. And then the last footnote is going to be our number 5 footnote, and then this is the information that I'm going to be putting in. And I realized why that other one did it, because I had copied too much from the instructions. Okay, perfect. There's my 5th footnote. Now that I have all of my footnotes in on my page, if I was to zoom out, you could see that each page has got their footnotes on the end of the page. So it looks all good. However, the instructions do ask that I convert them all over to Times New Roman 12. So that last step I just did was a waste, because now I have to convert them back over anyways, Times New Roman. So here's Times New Roman 12. I'm also going to do it at this one, Times New Roman 12. And I'm going to zoom back in so we can see where we're at. And now they're in Times New Roman 12. All right, great. Now we are on to some of our last steps. And that is, we're going to learn about, in the References tab, what are endnotes instead. So footnotes go on the footer at the bottom of each page. Endnotes are different, where it puts, instead of putting them at the end of each page, it just puts all of them at the end of the document. So we're going to convert our footnotes to endnotes. So to do this, we're going to go to the References ribbon. In there, you're going to find the Footnotes section, see Footnotes, and you're going to click on the dialog pop-out box. Then inside there, you're going to click on Convert, and it's going to ask us some options. It says, convert all footnotes to endnotes, and that's what I want to do. So I go ahead and hit OK, and then I'll hit Close. And now, if we were to look at my document, on the first page, we no longer have footnotes there. Everything's been placed to the to the end of the document, and there's still 5, but they put them in Roman numerals when it's an endnote. So footnotes are in normal numbers, and then the endnotes are in Roman numerals, and they're all there still, all 5 of them. So I am all done. I got it done correctly. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then after I'm done saving, we'll submit it to Canvas. So go ahead and save yours to your Word folder, and then I'm going to go and find and see mine's not showing my Google folder, so this PC, we'll see if I find it there. Oh, there's my Google Drive, and then my drive, Boss, Word, and then go ahead and save it as it's titled already. And once you have saved this, then you're ready. You're not going to submit yet. You're going to go back into Canvas and then finish part 2. And here's the video tutorial for part 2, and then also here is the document you need to download for part 2. So once you get this downloaded, you can watch the video tutorial, and when you're all done with both parts, you'll submit both documents to this Canvas page. Best of luck.